Yo, what's up, everybody? What's going on out there, YouTube? Please forgive us as we are having some technical difficulties this evening. Not sure what's going on with YouTube this evening, but YouTube just doesn't want us to be great this evening. So I have a little bit of technical difficulties at the moment. It's your boy, none other than DJ Fresh Your Highness. Retro CG will be joining us momentarily. Again, we like to apologize for the technical difficulties as we are trying to get everything squared away. Something's going on with YouTube this evening. Don't know what's going on. What's going on, lovely 31 Blueprint? Hope you're having a good evening. Yo, on your ward. Hope you're having a great evening as well. So up until Retro gets his stuff going back up, we just gonna go and just jump right into it. This is Power Force Season 2, Episode 203, War and Ice Cream Review and Recap. Before we get into it, though, I have to say I will probably give this episode maybe a 6 out of 10, maybe 5.5, 6 out of 10. I'll give my views as, as we get more into it, I'll give my views why I feel that way. But yeah, I will probably give it a 5.5, maybe a 6. What's going on, T-Chat Fit? What's going on? What's cracking, bro? How you doing, Miss Sharon? How you doing this evening? Like I said, again, just want to apologize everybody for the technical difficulties. Like I said, we're having with YouTube. Not sure what it is, but we gonna get it moving. As long as y'all can hear me, we good to go. So we're gonna get it moving. Let's get into it. As we can see, it starts off where Diamond and Tommy, they meet up right after they took shots at Tommy in the car. Tommy is a little paranoid, so it seems. He's a little paranoid at being shot at. So he tells Diamond he feels that, of course, it was Jenard's crew, it was treason, although Diamond was the one who is explaining to him like, nah, it's not treason. It's not them. We need to figure out exactly what's going on. What's going on, Support Gaming? What's going on, Lady V? How y'all doing? Like I said, we having a little bit of technical difficulties, but as long as y'all can hear me, we good. So it starts off, like I said, as Tommy car got shot up. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, y'all. Fortunately, the little girl got hit, but like I said, Tommy says he's going to tell Diamond. Tommy tells Diamond he's going to tell Jenard himself and approach him to find out who really took a shot at him. So as we can see, Tommy pulls up at Jenard's crib, and when he pulls up to Jenard's crib, Jenard is a little bit on edge. More than likely, probably because, for one, he wasn't expecting Tommy to pull up to his crib, and two, this is where he pretty much finds out that although he gave the word to do nothing to Tommy, he finds out somebody in his crew does something to Tommy without his blessing. I think in this scene right here, you can kind of see, like I said, Jenard's downward spiral, but it progresses later on down the line. But from this scene right here, what I took from it was Jenard is just he's so on edge. He has Tommy on his back, he has the Serbs on his back, he has Miguel on his back, and he is just completely lost. He don't know what to do. He's trying his best to hold it together, but it's just not really working for him at all. Lady V says So strange Tommy has enemies all around, yet he chilling in the car eating a burrito like he does every can of work. You know what, Lady V? I thought that exact same thing. I literally thought that exact same thing. And it's still a mystery to me as to how he can just drive around Chicago in an old school blue Mustang and nobody sees him. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like it's. I guess it kind of goes back to like the power, like how he just drove around all of New York City with that blue Mustang, and nobody could ever spot him. But I felt the exact same way, Lady V. He has all these enemies, and he was caught lacking. He was literally just caught lacking, and luckily for him, he didn't get unalived, but you know, unfortunately, a little girl did. So next scene here we have Diamond and the CEO. Excuse me, I forgot her name. I forgot his I forgot her name, but here we have Diamond and the CEO, and here is where he is discussing moving the product that they stole from Miguel's crew. I think it was the Marcus last week that had said that I think he was the one that said this was going to happen, where Diamond and them, they were going to start moving the product inside of the jail. I think it was DeMarcus that said that. But as we can see, that's literally what happens. He approaches her with moving the product inside the jail cell. And of course, she agrees with it, but for a fee. Um, this takes me back to, and I'm thinking now, I think it was that episode 1 or episode 2 where they kind of zoomed in on her snorting. And remember, I said that felt like a key moment as to why they would zoom in on that part of when she was snorting. So I wasn't taken aback that she decided to move the product inside of the jail cell. Um, so like without hesitation, that that wasn't shocking to me at all. So like I said, she says, yeah, let's get it, but it comes with a price. And so this is how they are going to offload the product that they stole from Miguel, all inside of the jail. Yeah, Lady V, he always comes through with the prediction. He's been on point. I'm almost starting to think he works with stars. Well, he works with powers because his predictions just be they just be too on point. They be there all the time. They just be like right on point. Oh, unfortunately, I forgot this young guy's name. Um, but here we have him here at the rally with the mayor, speaking on the gun violence after the little girl was killed. Um, this was kind of the segue moment, which I felt, which I knew. Like I said, this is one of the reasons why I kind of gave this episode a 5.5 or 6. It's because of like how predictable it was, and I kind of knew that this was going to be the segue moment for the mayor to announce the whole task force situation and looking into who actually shot the little girl, which now is just going to bring heat on everybody. And that saying, you saw, you had treason on one end, then you had the CBI group on the other end. It was also um and if somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, the person who approached Jenard, who said something they know, who shot the girl, was that person like in one of the games, or was that just somebody in the streets? I'm not sure, but of course Jenard's get approached by it, and that's who he finds out exactly who took the shot at Tommy. But yeah, support game in the episode is a 6. Yeah, you like I said, it was just very, very predictable, and it was just kind of like some scenes could have been deleted. Then it just at some point it just seemed like the episode was just kind of like all over the place. Um, but yeah, back to it. Like I said, we see this is where they announced the joint task force to look into who exactly was the one who unalived the little girl, and now there's going to be heat all over the streets, especially with treason and everything. Yeah, as we can see, and then she's the I forgot her name too. It's sad. Excuse me, y'all. It's sad, but yeah, as we see, I think she's the attorney general. No, she's not the attorney general. She is DEA. She's one of them. But once I saw her, like I said before, I knew that was the buildup that they were going to be bringing a task force to figure out who unalived the little girl. Here we have Tommy, still paranoid from being shot at, comes home and he interrupts. Oh, it's missing a part where JP and his son are having a discussion as to why he left his son. But Tommy comes in again, still paranoid. Somebody just took a shot at him. Wants to make sure that JP and D Mac are good. Comes in, hands him a gun and say, "Hey, look, this is what's going on. This is what's going down. I need y'all to, in case anybody comes here looking for me, I need you to take this just in case to protect yourselves." And of course, D Mac kind of feels away because they wouldn't allow him to hold a gun. I actually agreed with D Mac. I understand it. They trying to keep him out of the streets and everything, but it's like, yo, if they're looking for you and they run up in the crib, I'm SOL. Now I'm lacking because if they come up in the crib, how I'm gonna defend myself? So I actually agree with D Mac on this. I felt like they should have gave him a gun. Just both of them should have had one just in case. Because like I said, with JP, D Mac, and Kate being in the house, like I said, just to protect themselves and to just give JP a gun, who's probably never even used one before, whereas D Mac has. I just felt like, yeah, I agree with D Mac on that one. They definitely should have gave him a gun to protect himself as well. Let's see what we get. Insurance says she's doing double duty because she is on the Shy too. I have to check that out one day. I've heard a lot of good things about the Shy. I tried to watch it, didn't really get into it, but I'm gonna go back and double back and try to watch that. Alex Minaj says she's the AUSA. Okay, I don't know why I felt like she was like the DEA agent or something like that. Lady V said they should stop. They should stop that, Jeremiah. They have enough time between seasons to give us a better storylines. But yeah, Lady V, I agree with that. They have more than enough time to give us better storylines, especially with 10 episodes. And I agree with you, Jeremiah. The first 3 episodes, well, no, the first episode kind of got it off to the right foot. The second episode and this one feel like fillers, because especially this one, because this one, like I said, it was just all over the place. It was just too predictable. It was just way too predictable. So we have the AU say she is in the boardroom as they're talking about the task force to join up to take down the CBI, but mainly their main person of interest is Tommy. Last week we thought that her and the detective were, on the down low, which we found out they not. They are actually husband and wife, which actually to me was actually a shocker. I was not expecting them to be husband and wife at all. Just away from his reaction, after they found out the little girl got unalived in the last episode, he had to drop her off. So I was actually surprised to find that out, that they are husband and wife. That really shocked me. That they're husband and wife, but as you can see, they're having a whole argument, because he feels like this was her plan all along. This was her plan all along to get her task force. Went behind his back, which he told her not to. She did it anyway, so he's feeling some type of resentment about it. That this is what she did. It's what she did. I kind of feel him on that because in a way she pretty much did. She pretty much went behind his back. Although he called her in the last episode, say I can get you your task force, she still kind of went over his head and got that task force. So, but it's very random how they threw it in there. But it was a shocking moment for me to find out that they're actually married. I figured that they would have showed it in a better way that they were married versus then just springing it on us in this. Here we have. Yes, this is when Tommy. I forgot the guy's name. oh, this season I'm just terrible with names. When he's speaking to the I can't remember his name to save my life, but he's talking to the guy in the CBI that's down there that's bagging up the work, and tell him to get eyes on Jenard as they are looking for what was his name? Little K? Yeah, I think his name was Little K. That unalived little girl that took the shot at Tommy. Um, so after that, like I said again, he's on paranoia, opens it up, and it's nobody but Kate. Kate is coming in to basically right her wrongs. She says she's on step 9 and wants to make amends. Um, I was with Tommy on this one. Like, I got it. She's making amends, but it was just like that's it. That's all you got. I was feeling the exact same way. Like you couldn't, out of all this time for you to make amends over all the years, all you have is I'm sorry. Like there's no and to it. So I kind of felt Tommy on this, but we see that Kate is actually trying to go in the right direction this season as she is trying to stay clean and trying to stay sober as she's doing her 12 steps and everything. I feel like I know it's early in the season, but I kind of feel like with her making amends, Kate might be the one who gets unalive this season. Um, because it's showing her like she's trying to do right. She's trying to make amends. She's trying to, you know, right her wrongs. And then, of course, that's going to be, it's almost like it's predictable. That's pretty much what it's going to be like. She's trying to right her wrongs, and then bam, boom, while she's righting her wrongs, she gets unalive. Okay, I see y'all popping over here in the chats. Let's see what we got going on over here before we move forward. Yeah, lovely. 31. I've been trying to figure that out too. It's like they have yet to bring up his Walter Flynn's illness. I still have heard no mention of it since last season. It's almost like it miraculously disappeared. Like you would think at least in one of these 3 episodes they would have brought it up, but they have not. It's that's I'm trying to figure that out myself. Yeah, Lady V. Like I said, I was super shocked that they were married. That threw me that threw me off guard. But it was a good way that they now that we know that they are married. Support Gaming says in certain jobs, a husband and wife can't work together because yeah, you know what? Support Gaming, now that you said that makes sense as to why he had to drop her off, but they gave us like they were sneaking around the way that he said I have to drop you off. Like they kind of gave us like they were sneaking around, like they were on a download together, almost like they were having an affair with each other or something that they weren't supposed to be, and that's why like he had to drop her off. And you know but yeah, like you said, it's conflict of interest, so that makes a whole lot of sense. And plus she's had her thing with the Chicago PD anyway, where they don't like her anyway because of cases in the past. Miss Sharon says Kate is definitely going to be out of here. I'm starting to feel that way, Miss Sharon. Like I said, it just feels that way. I could be wrong, but it just kind of feels that way, that's the way in the direction they are going with Kate. Sport Gaming says Kate can't die because the power timeline won't add up. Because in book 2, she is around, it seems. Force 2 is before Ghost season 3. Well, you got to remember, we spoke about this on the last episode, is that actually it's not, because if you look at, what was that? Yeah, season 3, the last season of Power of Ghost, when Diana hands her that envelope, there's a whole bunch of boxes behind her. So we're already, like, in that moment, it seems like she's already packing up to come to Chicago. So I mean, I don't know, man. Who knows with Power? Like I said, who knows how they be, who knows, man. But we discussed it in the last episode that when Diana hands her that envelope, is that there's a lot of boxes behind her. So we see here now she's already in Chicago. So I mean, I don't know. Jeremiah says Joseph Sikora said this is before season 3 of Ghosts. I don't know how this could be before season 3 of Force. It's confusing. Yeah, Support Gaming. It's super confusing. I don't know how it could be before season 3 of Ghosts, because, like I said, something along the timeline is just not adding up. It's almost like, what's the Marvel movie where they had to go back in time? The Avengers Endgame. Like, the timelines aren't adding up. Like, something's not adding up here, because it's like, remember, yeah, matter of fact, it doesn't add up, because remember in season 3 when Tommy goes back, he says to he says that they already think that he's dead, so it doesn't matter to him. In this season they realize Tommy's not. So something's I don't know, man. Something's off. But like I said, this is Power, so who knows exactly what's going to be. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's get to the next. So here Tommy gets the text, and I was confused as to, I guess it was Miguel that was sending the text that said come see me now, and that's where he tells Kate you got to go so he can go handle the business with Diamond and go see what Miguel wants. Here we have Diamond in the barbershop giving his CO a haircut. Another scene, like I said, so predictable. I knew that someone was going to either it was going to be Tommy that was going to come in the shop again, or something that was going to raise suspicions. And of course, Big Smurf comes upstairs with a bag in front of Diamond's CO, and we have this awkward stare, this awkward showdown, in a sense, of him holding a bag. And I honestly thought at one point that the CEO was going to say something to Big Smurf, but the OG over there to the left, I give him props. He covered it up so quickly. He was on point with it. He covered it up so quickly and covered it up before Diamond's PO had suspicion on exactly what's going on. I still feel like Diamond's PO is still going to be suspicious regardless after this. Like, I just don't understand. After the last time, your PO is on you. In this situation, Diamond should have been smart the same way he was when Tommy walked in the barbershop. If Big Smurf and whoever else is downstairs, whether they bagging up product, they bagging up money, could have easily got on their phone and said, hey, PO's here. Don't come upstairs. I'll give you the word when to come upstairs. I just felt like, you know what I'm saying? In that kind of sense, it was like unrealistic, because it's like, yo, you got product and you got cash downstairs. Why you ain't on your game? You should have sent that text. Say, yo, don't come upstairs. Like, yo, my PO's here. My PO's up here. Like, don't come upstairs. Like, it's just that simple. Like, I really just don't understand why they couldn't. So, but yeah, Let's see. Okay, the chat's popping off again. Jeremiah says the season starts off 2 days after Liliana death. Tommy has not went back to New York yet. Hmm. That's true, but like I said again, it's it's just something's not right. It's something still's not making sense because he tells in season 3 of Ghost that they still think I'm dead. But yet here we have season 2 where Chicago PD as well as his task force knows he's not. So it's like, which one is it? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's ridiculously confusing. It's real confusing. Yeah, he can't act. It just looks all the way bad. It just looks all the way bad. It just looks all the way bad. Like I said, dude coming up with a whole duffel bag, and I don't even think even the OG, although he tried to cover it up. I don't even think the OG covered it up enough where he knows something ain't right. Because like I said, Big Smurf just gave like this weird look and stand, like I said, this stare down that like, hey, it's something going on up in here. Jeremiah says the parole officer is dirty. He might be, but you know what I'm saying? Who knows? Watch that introduce time. Man, if they introduce that support game, I will literally stop watching the show. Hands down. I will literally stop watching the show. In this scene, we have Walter and Vic Flynn as they are discussing that Claudia has shut them out of their accounts. I forgot the name of the accounts, but shut them out of the accounts. And, as we know now, Vic from the last episode, Vic is just running game on Walter, tell him, hey, that's what Claudia's going to do. That's basically, it. And Vic is telling him, he needs to get his head in the game and keep it moving and whatnot. Here we have Jenard rolling up on Shanti at the gym, looking for little K, where Shanti is basically trying to talk him down of taking out little K. Although Shanti had a point of not to take out little K because there is so much friction in treason and there's so much stuff that is going on in treason and how bad it would look, because she had a point. Tommy took out Chewie. They were supposed to retaliate. Jenard said no. So it made him, in a sense, it made him look like a weak general and his crew. But also at that same time, he gave that order to stand down. Little K didn't, so of course you got to pay the consequence. That's just how I go in the game. You got to pay that consequence regardless. So I felt both parties. I felt both sides on this, but like I said, he was right. You gotta pay the consequence. So here we got Walter again. I don't even remember this character's name, but he's meeting up with the guy to pay him for the bad batch of pills that they're going to move on the south side. I'm still trying to figure out where Walter got the money because he's still in debt to Dublin. And I'm thinking, now that I think about it, you know what? I'm thinking maybe this money is from, I'm thinking about it now. I'm thinking the money that they got, that they gave to him, was the money that they stole out of Claudia's safe. So that makes that's probably what it is. That's probably the money that they stole out of Claudia's safe to pay him for the pills. Because like I said, he's so in debt to Dublin. I'm just trying to figure out like where would he get this money from? Also in the scene, we saw Vic Vic was when DeMarcus says his name is Michael. Where he makes a racial comment about the people on the South Side. If I remember correctly, he said monkeys. Correct? Y'all could correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but I think that's what he said. I think he said monkeys, and Vic took a lot of offense to that, as because of his love for Gloria. So I completely understood why he took offense. So I understand it, but Walter had to talk him down and make sure that everything was good because, as we all know, Vic acts on emotion, and he probably would have unalived Michael right then and there. Insurance is. I thought the same thing regarding the money. It wasn't until now I'm insuring that I literally just thought about that. It didn't click when I watched it that that's where they got the money from. That they got the money um from Claude's safe. It literally just hit me just now um that that's where they got the money because they, like I said, he's in debt to Dublin. So, you know, and Paulie has told him, hey, you know, we don't really have any money. So now it makes sense. That's where they got the money from. Ah, so here we have the scene where Miguel, quote unquote, thinks he found his snitches that sold him out to the Serbs that stole his product. Um, this right here is just like, this is some devious, like, I can't even think of the word. I have the word in my mind, but I can't even think of it right now to describe this scene. Like, this is just like beyond torture to basically, I don't know what it was, Freon, whatever, to make that man's hand frozen and knock it off. But as we can see, this is what he do. In my opinion, this scene to me, as they, as they were discussing, I feel like Miguel is a little suspicious about them too, because the way he went about it, like Tommy said, why we here if we ain't had nothing to do with it, and he's telling them like this is what happens when you betray me, and then when they ask for more product, he gives this he you know what I'm saying he gives a suspicious feeling like y'all asking for product already, although they telling them they moving it in the jail cell, which I also think is going to come back to haunt them. um but we see here Miguel is very suspicious of both, if not Diamond, Tommy. He's definitely suspicious of Tommy, especially after the last episode when his grandmother told him, like, white devil, all that stuff. But he really gave off the vibe that he is truly suspicious of these two. He really, like, yeah, Jeremiah, they think Miguel is stupid and he's not. And I think that's why, in my opinion, I think he took those two out just to show them, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't prove it yet, but I feel like y'all had something to do with it. So they could have easily just slipped up, you know what I'm saying? So because they slipped up and they was only two, with the information that's about to drop, I'm gonna take them out, but y'all gonna watch. So y'all know that I'm not playing about betraying me. DeMarcus says Miguel knew that Tommy and Diamond stole their work, but exposed his two goons like Mecca did the chef with Kane. Yeah, Marcus, that's a good take. That is a very, very, very good take. I didn't even think of that. That's a very good take, DeMarcus. I like I said, I feel that way too. I feel that way too. That he suspects him, but he's he just can't prove it yet. I feel that exact same way that he suspects us, but he can't prove it yet. Um, so here, as we see, they've already started moving the work inside of the prison cells. As we can see, the CEO was already on top of it. Let the lady go to the bathroom to retrieve the work from. We already pretty much know exactly where she pulled the work out from when they were bagging it up. So we know where the work came from. But this was actually smart, the way that they moved it into the popcorn bag, because I was wondering why she was popping popcorn before the scene took off. But that was actually smart, the way that she put it in a popcorn bag and he's grabbing it out looking like he is eating popcorn. My only thing is I would hope that he didn't swallowed it to get it inside the jail, which he probably did. But a very good way to move it inside of the jail. Here we have Tommy meeting up with Walter and Paulie, where he approaches Walter to want to know the information on who unalived Liliana. I'm with Diamond on this one. Um, I know she was a rider. No, Liliana was a rider. She was day one, but I'm just so curious why he's so hell bent on getting revenge for Liliana. That's what I'm really, really curious about. Because I don't think even in power, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Even in power, I don't think I've ever seen him. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm wrong because when Lakeisha got unalive, he was on that same type of time. Okay, so yeah. So I kind of understand it, but I mean he's just very, very serious on getting back the person who is responsible for taking out Liliana. And here is where he finds out, because of the words that Walter uses, that it was none other than Claudia herself. Just because of the word he uses, he put, two and two together and figures it out, it was Claudia. Here we have Claudia coming home to see that everything in her safe is gone. Um, I didn't think it was money in a sense at first, but now that I'm thinking about it, that makes a lot of sense. I don't know why when I first watched it, I was thinking it was like something that had to do with Dahlia or something like that. But it was like, now that I'm thinking about it, it was pointless because the recipe was out there. Uh, but like I said, it makes so much sense now as to why she was so upset because they took all of her money. DeMarcus says Walter, Flynn, and Paulie should have taken out Tommy with the quickness. Yeah, they should have, but there's somewhat. I guess maybe because it was just too broad daylight. That's why they didn't take him out because they would have got caught. And Walter Flynn, although he has so many cops in his pocket and everything, he kind of like tries to do stuff, in the shadows or whatnot, not in the forefront. Board game saying, imagine if someone in real life was watching the show from prison and decided to try to. They might have, but I can say I'm almost sure you can't just go into the what you call it and pop the popcorn. But I could be wrong. Lakeisha was going to snitch on Tommy. That's why Tommy did not kill Tasha. No, at first he was definitely going to take out Tasha. I don't remember when he found out. Was it last season that he found out? I don't remember, but no, at first he was really hell bent on taking out Tasha. He was really, really hell bent on taking out Tasha. As we see again, the CEO, she's watching the product move through the cells, move through the jail cells. Everything is moving well. We see them basically moving it during lunchtime, popping it on the lunch trays. And of course, it wouldn't be right if there wasn't somebody in the jail cell who had a problem with moving product in the jail cell that they have nothing in, that they don't know about. I honestly thought when I first saw them, I thought it was somebody that was connected to Miguel, honestly. And I was like, yo, this is how Miguel is going to find out somehow, some way. Tommy and Diamond were the ones who who stole his product. That's what I thought because of how, like I said, I just figured, and it probably would have made better sense that way. But I literally thought, I thought that's what was literally going to happen. I thought they were part of Miguel's crew somehow, since they, you know. Here we have Claudia meeting up with Walter and, excuse me, meeting up with Walter and Paulie, and she is pissed off about them stealing the money out of her safe. And Walter tells her straight up, yeah, I took the money. You changed the passwords to our account. So yeah, took the money. This is what happens when you mess with my money. So, you get on board or not. So, and in a sense, I kind of feel like in this scene, like there is nothing he won't do to cover his own ass. Like if it comes down to him taking out Claudia, kind of feel like he will, just to save himself from Dublin. I just that's just the vibe that he gave off. Um, especially when she brings up, especially when he brings up, Tommy coming to, talk to him about her unaliving Lydiana. I just got that vibe from him from this scene right here. So I mean, who knows? What's up, Xavier? What's going on? So here we have the detective who visit um little Kay's grandmother in her garden and basically tells her, hey, look, we know it's him. We know he was the one who unalived the little girl. Um, he basically tells her, you like, hey, I can give him protection. There's more dangerous people out there um, than the Chicago PD that's trying to get you. Like, tell him just bring himself in. I can protect him because he was going to try to flip him so that he could, you know, catch Tommy and CBI and everybody else. But of course, his grandmother, she she backs down, doesn't give him any type of information. Um, which was okay. That was what you call it. Kate is here. She is baking a cake for D-Mac for his birthday. I was lost at the whole cake thing because it, JP said something about a baseball. This doesn't look like anything about a baseball. This just looks like a regular cake. But her and JP have a whole discussion as to why. Well, before we get into that, Kate, again, she does the same thing as she did with Tommy, where she is righting her wrongs. She does her step 9 to make amends with JP. And JP, just like Tommy, is like, okay, that's it. That's all you have to say. Like, I'm sorry. There's nothing else. And he excuse me, wants to know why she left him. Um, she gives the excuse, I was 14, and he was like, well, you had Tommy when you were 16. What it is just because I'm black. And I kind of felt like that's, of course, we know later on down the line that's what it was, but I kind of feel like that's literally what it was. But I feel like there's also more underlying issue or something that's going to come out later on in later episodes as to the real reason why um why she left JP. I think it's going to be something more that's going to be the real reason why she took out JP. And we have Jenard who got the drop on little K. I didn't understand, was this supposed to be a like some type of disguise from Jenard with this hat on, because it was just like the hat really didn't match the outfit per se. So I was trying to figure that out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's with the hat? But anyway, like I said, he got the drop on Lil K and was literally about to take him out up until Lil K's grandmother come out with cookies. Um, I thought in this scene afterwards, his grandmother was going to tell him, you have to go because you've had the cops here and now you got somebody else here with a gun to the back of your head that was about to get ready to take you out. And if I didn't come out, you would have been unalived. I thought here she was going to say, like, you got to go. But yeah, like Miss Sharon said, yeah, grandma's a G herself. She's a G. She held it down for him, held it down for her grandson, was like, yo, hey, if you unalive him, you got to unalive me. It was also funny because when she offered him the cookie, I thought something was in the cookies. Honestly, the way she offered it, I thought it was something in the cookies that, I don't know, possibly get him sick or something like that. So it was kind of funny. She offered the cookies, but like I said, I literally thought in this scene, this is where she was just going to be like, yeah, you got to go. Alex Minaj says the grandma's going to take out Jenard. I won't be surprised if she tried to, because now that Lil K is unalive, she knows that he was one of the last people, to see him that tried to unalive him. So I would not be surprised if the grandma herself later on down the line tries to take out Jenard. Sport Gaming says theory that was a little K grandma's all up front. That was his OG. No, possibly could be. It possibly could be his OG. That would be an excellent storyline as well. Oh, make sure. Yeah, Jenard is spiraling. And I'm gonna get into that later on as to why this episode just didn't make any sense somewhat in reference to Jenard. But he's definitely spiraling out of control. So we got Tommy pulling back up to which spot was this? I forgot which spot this was. But anyways, he's pulling up on Diamond. Oh yes, he's pulling up on Diamond after he got finished talking to Walter Flynn. As we can see now, Tommy's got the pickup truck after the Mustang got all shot up, which is weird to me because it's not like now all of a sudden, I guess, since your Mustang got shot up, now you want to switch vehicles when you should have done that like a long time ago. But anyways, he tells Diamond about his meet with Walter Flynn in reference to finding out that, Claudia was the one who unalived Liliana. And he tells Diamond, he didn't say it in so many words, but he already knows, which is why he texts Claudia to set a meet to find out if she was the actual one who unalived Liliana. Here we have Kate in is this AA? I think this was AA, where she celebrates her soberness. I forgot. She said she was a week clean, correct? I believe she said she was a week clean. She was celebrating her soberness. But here is also where we get a little more information in reference to her leaving JP behind, and she says it has something to do with her mother, which was JP's grandmother. That in the first season he was the one who would go see her all the time. In the he was the one that would always go see her. So yeah, Xavier, Kate really came in with the acting this episode. Like I said, I still feel like there's going to be more. There's something else that's going to happen. There's going to be more with JP and the whole Kate situation. There's going to be some type of backstory. I feel it's just going to be some type of backstory that's going to come along as to why she really, really left him. I kind of feel like there's going to be a plot twist in there somewhere as to why she left him. So this was one of the scenes that actually caught me by surprise as well. Here we have the some random person who was dropping the work off from Michael to Vic to offload those pills over on the south side. Well, as we know from the last episode, Vic said that he's going to tear it down from the inside. Vic calls 911, says, hey, see somebody selling work, etc. on such and such. Cops need to come. They come. Vic tosses the phone out of the window. Then he proceeds to call Walter and tells him, hey, the delivery person got popped. We got a problem. We have no pills. How this was smart on Vic's end, I feel like at the same time, it's going to come back to haunt him. Because although you called with a burner phone, your voice is still on the recording. So at any given time, you could, and I'm guessing he completely forgot that his father has connects inside of, he got police on his payroll. So at any given time, if he wants to, he could easily, hey, I need to get the 911 tape that was called in. I'm going to hear Vic's voice. Clear as day. I didn't understand why he didn't try to use some type of voice disguise or maybe even pay somebody to call 911, because like I said, it was smart that you did it, but it was dumb because your voice is the one that's on the 911 recording. So if Walter at any time, Walter or Paulie, whatever, can go back they can pull the tape, which has me thinking right now it could be possible that after this situation that Claudia is so she's, I don't want to say desperate, but she wants to run the organization as to where she finds out and she gets to take, here's Vic voice, blackmails Vic. I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised at all. Yeah, Miss Sharon, I was confused. I was really confused. It was just like, okay, you threw, and not only that though, it was just like you threw the phone out of the window, but you threw it where the drop was supposed to happen, and then you call Walter on your phone exactly. So yeah, it was just a whole, what you call it. Like I said, I still feel like that's gonna come back to bite him. Here we have Tommy meet up with Claudia, where basically he wants to confront her about Liliana's unaliving to confirm that it's her. Of course, Claude lied, said it wasn't me, but looking in her eyes, Tommy knows it was her, the unalived Liliana. Told her, I'm gonna take you out one day. You won't know when you won't know when it happened, but believe me, it's gonna happen. You won't even see it coming, as he said. So Tommy now knows that Claudia was the one who unalived Liliana. Although he did also say he can't prove it yet, but he knows that she was the one to unalive Liliana. And I also thought when he said to her, like, hey, could have been a me or you situation. I can respect that. I literally thought Claudia was going to say, hey, I thought she was going to lie and say, yeah, she was about to take me out, so I took her out. Or I thought she was just going to confess, like, hey, she was about to take out my father, so I had to unalive her. But of course, she still lied, doubled down, said she wasn't the one who did it. Support Gaming says, why Tommy so pressed over Liliana's death? They only worked together for a month after he wanted to have her unalive in season 1 of Power. Yeah, that's what I said. I've been a little confused as to why he's really, really hell bent on avenging her death. I'm kind of lost on that as well, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll get a backstory, but I guess maybe he just felt like she was the one that was so down, with the crew and everything that that was he has to, because I think he just had a soft spot in his heart for her. Okay, I don't even remember this attorney's name, but as we know in previous scenes where Diamond and Tommy talk about them having problems moving work inside of the whatchamacallit, and Retro CG himself is in the building, y'all. We finally got the technical difficulties out of the way.
Man, I ain't gonna even begin to tell you what my day has been like, but I'm here. What's up, good? What's good, everyone? I'm here.
But he's here. He's here. We're gonna get into it. Before we move any further, Retro CG, your thoughts on the episode. I gave it like a 5 out of 5, 5.5 out of 10, 6 out of 10.
For me, it is going to be probably a 6.5. Hey, y'all, what's good?
Okay. I mean, I said it was stuff all over the place, and it was kind of predictable in this episode. That's why I ended up giving it like 5.5, 6, or whatnot. I'm sure DeMarcus knows the name of this attorney. I don't remember her name, but this attorney, like I said, after Diamond and Tommy discuss, them having problems moving work in the jail cell, they send an attorney up there to approach, I don't even remember this character's name, to offer him a deal so that they can.
Roja, shout out to J Moore Reviews. He's actually a YouTuber. He made a cameo appearance last season, so I see they brought him back, and that character is debilitated. We finally found out how he ended up in a wheelchair, because he said in this episode that Diamond put him there. but the actor in real life is also disabled as well.
Oh man. Okay, so it's
Yeah, it was good.
basically just like the one from Raising Canaan. That same.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Sport Game says I
but I'm
thought
kind of
Rohan.
glad they died down his character because apparently he was getting his weight from the Serbs, and so now I guess he's going to start moving Tommy and Diamond weight.
Yeah, I still feel like that's gonna come back to haunt him, but that's just me. I feel like somehow, some way, Miguel, or you know what? Now that he's not getting it from the Serbs anymore, that's gonna raise even more questions, and that's where they're going to butt heads because, of course, Miguel's gonna be like, "Y'all the one who jacked our truck," and like, "No, we didn't," and then it's gonna Miguel gonna start putting those pieces of the puzzle together and realize, okay, y'all were the one who jacked it, and now y'all moving my work inside of the jail cell.
What's good, Miss Sharon, Xavier, Yana, and Support Gaming? What's good, y'all? Yeah, I thought Roja was going to be a one-time thing too, but apparently, they brought him back again because there seemed like there was no continuation for his story last season. So it's interesting to see that they brought him back again. I guess they needed, substance.
More than likely, that's probably exactly what it was. They just needed some substance. Um, here we have Diamond. Like I said, I forgot the young boy's name, but we have Diamond talking to the young boy who gave the speech at the rally. For the unaliving of the little girl and everything. Basically saying, he got his head on his shoulder and everything. This scene right here, I kind of felt like Diamond was he was starting to feel some type of regret of being back in the game because once the boy told him like I've been to more funerals than I had parties, like all my friends are in the ground, you can see like in his face, like you know what I'm saying, like hey, like damn, this was me. I said I got out, I was gonna get out the game. Now I'm back in the game. Um, then of course
Oddly enough, I have that polo shirt. I do have that polo shirt. I'm wear it next week.
Is it a hoodie or is it just a polo shirt?
Well, he has the hoodie, but I actually have the polo shirt. I have the polo shirt and the socks actually to match. Uh, I got mine from Macy's, but that was like last year. That's last season's polo. But anyway, the little fella gets ran up on by some cats in the street. That's like, yo, why you out here, trying to think you better than me or whatever. So, they try to give him a little fade, give him a little beat down. And of course, Diamond comes in and shoo off his attackers and basically tell him, like, listen, I know you don't like violence, but you got to be able to defend yourself out here. You got to be able to throw these hands. So we know what's getting ready to happen. Diamond gonna take him under his wing. He gonna show him how to throw those hands. So the next time them fellas come and bother him again, he gonna whoop their ass.
I was thinking the complete opposite. I'm thinking more so like he gonna end up getting into the street life. Like although Diamond's gonna take him under his wing and of course teach him how to defend himself or whatnot, instead of him defending himself, that's when he probably gonna go pick up a gun or whatnot and then end up shooting or unaliving somebody. And now like Diamond's gonna be the one that has to hide him and do all this other stuff. Like you messing up. Like that's not what we spoke about or whatever. I just saw that coming or I also thought that he was getting abused at home because like when Diamond was reaching out to him, like he flinched again.
He probably was just shook up. But actually, I thought that my initial thought was that something gonna happen to him, and that's gonna weigh on Diamond's conscience. Whereas you thought that it was the whole thing about the regret about him being back in the game. I think if something happened to that little fellow right there, that's probably gonna be that regret that Diamond ends up with. There's a couple comments I saw from earlier scenes that I missed. Let's see. That's true, Alex. Every woman that Tommy gets close to ends up unalive. And I don't understand either why he needs so much proof that that Claudia was the one that did Liliana. He knows it. Her reaction when he rolled up on her showed it. So like, what more confirmation do you need at this point, Tommy?
Yeah.
I don't know. What did you feel like? How did you feel about Tommy in this episode? He just seemed a little.
I said the whole episode he was paranoid.
Thank you. I thought it was just me. He was just wired, just extra, extra.
I mean, it was almost like he'd never been shot at before. So it was just like he was on paranoia, like, okay, somebody just tried to take me out. And I'm like, Tommy, this ain't the first time. Like, oh no, all 6 seasons of Power, somebody was like coming at you. Like y'all was at war with folks. So it was just like, I guess maybe it was the simple fact that he got caught lacking. He
I don't know if he fell in love with her support gaming, but I think what it is that Tommy didn't really care for her to begin with. And the fact that she's a day one, Julio vouched for her and kept her alive. And, she knew the organization. She was a ride or die. She was unlike any other woman that has been in Tommy's life. She knew how to move out here in these streets. She knew how to make the work. And she was loyal. So I think, if anything, that was just equivalent to him losing Ghost. For me, it was like, Liliana became the perfect substitute partner for him. And now he's lost her too. So I don't know if he was more so in love with her, but in love with the idea that, I can work with her with no, extra. And the fact that, one of the Flynns took her out, that's the biggest thing.
I don't know for mom.
No, they knew each other forever. They go back to season 1.
Yeah, they go back
to season 1. About it is Tommy regretted because remember he gave the order to unalive her back in season 1. But it was Ghost that worked through Julio to get her out of town into Chicago. So they got history.
That's a good point, Xavier. He probably did feel into a security blanket since making his death, and realized, that probably is why he's on edge so crazy, because like you said, he was faking it, so nobody really knew he was out in the streets like that in Chicago, and bam boom, now he about to somebody try to take him out. Here we go. We got, so now it makes sense. I thought from last episode preview, I thought Lil K was gonna roll over, but as we see, he did not roll over. He didn't snitch anything. I was just lost at how the detective, unless he was following them, how did he know they were gonna go to the check cashing place?
He was following them. I think he posted up down the street, around the corner, to see when they were going to make a move, because the grandmother gave it away when she was out there pruning her tomatoes, or she looked up at the window.
Yeah.
So that was a dead giveaway that he was there. So I just assumed that he went up around the street, around the corner, and just cased the place till they moved. Grandma was around though. Grandma said,
that's what Miss Sheridan was saying earlier. She was a G. Alex Menard said,
like, is my grandson under arrest?
Alex Menard said she'll probably be the one that's going to take out Jenard.
Yeah, the grandma, right.
I think it was, who was it? Was it Xavier support, or maybe it was DeMarcus that said maybe that's not even his grandmother, that's his OG that taught him the game.
Might be.
It could possibly be.
She was on point. She was on it. Every time. She was on it.
I mean, even Lil K was on it. He was on it too when he realized, like, hey, y'all don't have no evidence on me. If that was the case, I'd be in handcuffs. I literally thought
in this scene right here, he told him that he had Prince and a witness.
Yeah. And had none of that. So here we got.
Played him to the left. The sneaky link played him to the left. She was like, oh, okay. So I just found this work on you. So, you finna go in the hole for a little while. You finna get transferred to maximum security prison. Like, either you go lay down or you gonna get put down. Like, what you gonna do?
I literally thought he was gonna say, send me to the hole.
Yeah.
And I thought that's what.
I'll go ahead and get this work from y'all.
That's when he was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and get this work. Like I said, I think all of this it's gonna come back on him. Because like I said, he was getting work from the Serbs, and all of a sudden now he just cutting off the Serbs. Immediately they gonna start to wonder, like, hey, like, now you're just cutting this off. And like I said, I think that's what's gonna put 2 and 2 together, that Miguel is going to realize, because he's already suspicious of them, how fast they move and work, that they were the ones who stole the work and not the Serbs. Said, Sneaky Link finna go to jail or end up 6 feet under.
I kind of thought about that too. The Sneaky Link gonna get caught up before it's over and done with. I feel like the Sneaky Link gonna get caught up.
I think she gonna OD.
She on that stuff too.
Remember in the last episode, remember I told you when they zoomed in when she was sniffing, when they were downstairs and she was sniffing, and I said I feel like that's a symbolic why they zoomed in when she was sniffing from the little canister. I was like, there's something symbolic there. So I think she might end up ODing or something off the work. Or maybe they Rojas or somebody, tank the work.
They're gonna do something to her. They're gonna get her.
Yeah. They're gonna take the work or something like that. And
man, this scene right here, I feel sorry for Jenard again. So Jenard is, out on the air like, Jenard, you hot right now. You so hot. You hot in so many ways. Like, bro, you need to lay low. You out here riding around in a Ferrari at that. Them Serbs pull up on him real quick, real smooth. They block his ass in. They yank him up out the car. And they were like, well, I got my money. I did an extension. I'm like, damn, how many more payments? Every week, this is the third episode. Every week, you don't make a payment arrangement. Like, we gonna make them payment. We don't make 3 payment arrangements and still begging for an extension, right? So they're like, oh, okay. We need another extension? No problem. They just rolled off in this shit. I was like, damn. And he's running down the street after him.
This scene, it made me mad a little bit for numerous reasons.
Poor Jenard.
Because for one, it's like, when you in the streets, you in that life, you keep your head on a swivel. Hell, me driving regularly, I keep my head on a swivel just to make sure, like, ain't nobody following me, etc.
And where is your detail? Where is your detail? There is no way Tommy should have been able to come knock on that man's front door. There is no way Tommy out here in these streets and y'all beefing at that he was able to come and knock on this man's door.
I guess from the look of it, it looked like Jenard house is probably like out one of them little upscale neighborhoods where it ain't that type of stuff going on out there. But this scene though, I just didn't understand it because I'm like, you look up, you see 4 black Tahoes coming at you with no lights on. You in a Lambo truck, and at no time did you say, I'm in a Lambo truck. Let me hit the gas. Like, I'm like, you in a Lambo truck. You could have hit the gas, could have got out of there, could have been gone. Don't come in front of you and block you off. Yeah, I was like, ain't no way. Them big heavy trucks wouldn't have been able to keep up with that Lambo, and at no point did you say that. And then, like you said, it was so stupid. You ran behind them like, oh, this man came out of the car with a whole assault rifle, and now you said, oh yeah, I'm gonna get it to him. And then when they take the keys, then you're gonna try to run after him like he ain't have a big assault rifle in your face. Like he could have just popped you really if he wanted to, but now you running behind your car. I understand it.
That scene didn't make sense to me. And I guess you're right, Xavier. I guess you're right. Jenard just don't have no goons.
Yeah.
He's on his mind and he's overwhelmed. That's the problem. He's overwhelmed. And he doesn't, because remember, they took out Jeremiah. Jeremiah, who was really his right man, who was really more the brains than Jenard. So Jenard is really kind of left with a deficit right now because he doesn't really have someone like Tommy and Diamond. They can bounce things off of each other or whatever, even though Tommy's more of the hothead. Diamond is starting to show that, he's smart too. He can make some plays too.
Yeah.
Jenard ain't got nobody the dude that he is kind of like using as that right-hand man, he don't seem to be giving him good sound advice. So Jenard just needs to go ahead and throw his hands up and be like, big bro, my bad, come back home.
Yeah, like Xavier
And it's
said, the
not
only
like-
drug dealer I know that can't pay his bills.
right, because he can't pay no bills and he ain't got no work, he ain't got no workers, and he ain't got no muscle. So he's a rabbit. Who does one
See,
Tommy Person called? Oh, one of Flynn
yeah, Big
bodyguard.
Smurf. Yeah, the one he put on him to follow him around. Like to
Still,
me, this scene right here, they could have deleted this scene. It was pointless.
yeah.
It was pointless.
It reminds me of the very first scene from episode 1. It's the same thing. Tommy's gonna just go kill unalive all of their bodyguards until you find that one that's gonna dime Claudia out. Like, dude, we're over it.
Yeah, it was just like it was pointless. It was like you knew you was going to unalive him.
I knew that this was going to be Buddy's last ride. I knew this was going to be his last ride.
I definitely knew.
So remember, Jenard had already told him when he was over at Granny house, eating them Toll House cookies, that whatever, come get me. So after he got jacked, Buddy was like, listen, Buddy looking at him like, dude, you getting high off your own stuff. Like, that's rule number 1. Like, you don't get high off your own supply. And he was like, then Jenard just flipped. So going back to Lovely Brew Plant, you are absolutely right. He had a lot on his mind. I think everything came rushing in on him at that moment.
That wasn't it.
When Buddy was like, you get high off your own supply, he's like, you got a wire on you? He beat his ass and choked him out with the seatbelt.
Okay. Xavier, Support Gaming, DeMarcus, anybody in the chat, because I've been going over this since I watched this episode. When did Jenard, because I'm almost like 95% sure in the first 2 episodes, we have not seen Jenard sniff no coke.
Yes, we have.
I don't remember. I remember him smoking
last season.
Okay, well then I've
I
been proven.
I even want to say he was even getting high off the Dahlia.
I remember him getting high off the Dahlia after Claudia kissed him. I remember that, and that's how he got high off of that. But I don't remember him. I do not. Okay, I was wrong. I didn't remember him sniffing coke last season. So that's why when he did it this time, I was like, okay, this is a shocker. But I knew after he sniffed it,
I want to say it was a scene last season where they were at the barbershop, when they was in the basement. And I want to even say Diamond even said something to him about it. But yeah, they've shown him getting high before. He's a crackhead. Because I think we even said that last season he was a crackhead.
Okay. I was wrong, because I kept sitting there. I was like, yo, when did he just start sniffing coke? Like, it wasn't no build up to it, nothing. But I knew that after he sniffed,
that's why it wasn't no build up, because they had already been showing him. They haven't been showing him as much as they did this episode. But here they would show him, do a little, a little line or whatever. But then when he went and got the heroin and snipped it raw, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I was going to wait.
He gone. He way gone.
But I knew as soon as he did that and dude said something, I said, oh, he about to have that coke rage. And I was like, yeah, he gone.
Coke rage, yep.
That's like, it's a wrap for him. It was a wrap. Choked that man unalived him with the seatbelt. But my thing was, I was trying to figure out how Tommy knew where he was at. Because Tommy was just sitting over in the parking lot.
He was casing him. Because remember, he told him, he was like, I'm going to keep an eye on you. He was like, if you don't do it, then I'm going to do you. So to me, that was a warning that I'm going to be watching you. So Tommy had been watching him all along,
But how did he know they was gonna pull over at that exact point? Because remember, he was across the street in the whatchamacallit.
It's the Power Universe. The main character always knows. It's like the Wizard of Oz.
Xavier, no, you don't have to just inject it. Some people actually smoke it as well.
Or snort it.
Yeah, people who don't like needles, they'll snort it or smoke it.
Yeah, Xavier, he been watching them, because remember he was watching them last episode, because that's how he knew how to get the drop on all of them.
Yeah,
he been watching them, because remember they showed him try to take out Walter, but he decided.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. That's right. He been following when he went to the Claudia house. That's right. He been watching them.
Yeah, he been watching them.
That's right. I forgot all about that. Here you go again.
This dude right here, man, take him down to rehab because he needs some counseling or something.
Exactly. He need to go on
He ain't
AA
got
with
no
Kate.
money. That's why he ain't got no money, no product, no nothing, because he's snoring all of it.
He need to go on AA with Kate. Uh,
Oh, I meant to ask y'all, what is Xavier? Okay, support game in Xavier. I ain't seen DeMarcus, so DeMarcus must be gone. Um, who is calling Diamond from this unknown number?
that's what was missing. That's what was missing. I knew it
They
was something.
called a few times, and I want to say they even text.
They
I don't know
did.
if text, but I
They
know
did.
they called.
They text right before Miguel opened up the door. When they went to go meet Miguel before Miguel dipped the dude's hands in the hydrogen or whatever he did. Got the text right there because Tommy said something to him about it. I think it's the I got two theories. Either it's the girl from last season that he was being involved with, that was the
The one that
reporter,
they showed at the beginning of the season that said, I can't take this life, I'm out. Okay, good theory.
or this is going to be some new character in play that we don't know about.
Okay.
That's the only thing I can think of. Those are the only two things I can think of possibly.
Good point. Okay, our power experts, they quiet on this subject, so they must don't have no theories on this one. So we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. Okay, so Xavier said he thinks it was Adrian too. Okay, all right.
Shanti. Why would it be Shanti though, Xavier? That wouldn't make any sense.
I guess she might want to ride too. Remember, Tommy asked, "What's the name? You want to go for a ride? You want to ride me?" Maybe Shanti want to ride too.
Mahoney.
Mahoney. Mahoney might be a good one. Or I don't know why it would be, but could it be the probation officer playing game?
That would be a good plot twist if that's who it is.
Honestly, for some reason I don't know why the PO comes to mind. The PO to me, I almost feel like the PO want to get down, but trying to act all high and mighty, trying to tote the line, and trying to act like I'm by the book and I'm going to lock you up. But part of me feel like the PO officer wants some work.
Yeah, I think it was Jeremiah that had said that earlier. That was like, yo, the PO is dirty. Somebody said the PO was.
Yeah, I think that PO. I don't know. I got a vibe. I got a vibe off of that PO. I feel like that PO officer, he wants some work.
I feel like the PO officer is like he watching him with a hawk eye, and especially now after that whole situation with he came upstairs.
Pops at the barbershop, he held it down.
Yeah, I said
Pops
that.
at the barbershop, he held it down. He was.
But I don't think it was enough. What was this? Oh yes, scene where Tommy finds Kate sleep.
Left the ice cream for him.
Yeah, I felt like that was another scene could have been deleted.
Is this the scene where he found the ice cream?
Yeah, that scene where he found the ice cream.
Okay, I don't know if y'all talked about it yet. I'm sorry, I was late. I was traveling. What do y'all think is happening with Kate? I think Kate. We on the end days of Kate, yo. Kate.
See, okay. Before you came in here, they all, in a sense, said that like I think it was Miss Sharon and maybe Lady V that agreed with me that I said I think Kate is going to be gone this season.
Yeah.
That she's either going to be unalived or she's going to end up spiraling back to her ways. She's going to take some bad dope and that's going to, unalive her. But it was support gaming, and I think it was DeMarcus or maybe even Xavier that said it don't match up in the power timeline because apparently this is before season 3 of Ghosts of book 2. And I told them, I said, we spoke about this last week on last week's episode because we discussed on how in season 3 of book 2, when Kate gets the package from Diana, there's boxes behind her.
Yep.
Which will show like, hey, she's packing up the move.
And
Uh,
not only that, because this is how you also know. This is how you also know it's on the continuity wise. It's on the same time frame. Because remember when Tommy and Tasha made up, he told Tasha, I got a nephew, I got a brother I didn't know about. So that is all the events of season one that came out in season three.
that's
So
right.
this is afterwards. This is afterwards. Kate was packing up to head to Chicago. That's why she think about it. Because in Power continuity, Kate and Tommy was beefing.
Yeah.
In this continuity, they've got back together. So, in other words, how would Kate have known how to reach Tommy if she hadn't already been in contact with them? So, this, remember, in the last season of Force, JP called Kate
Mm-hmm.
and she was out there. Kate was out there already.
Yep. Yep.
So, I'm assuming that in season three of book two, she went back to New York to get her things and decided to move out there.
That's the exact same thing
You're a
that
little
I'm.
bit confused for gaming. It is confusing because they don't make it obvious. You have
Yeah.
to kind of look for the Easter eggs that they plant. They plant little Easter eggs because at first we were confused about it too until I went back and watched the timeline and I said, okay, there was a reason why they showed us that scene. That scene, if you go back and look at the very last episode, we were so wrapped up with Diana and her treachery that we missed the clue in that
Yeah.
scene. That clue right there, we even talked about it in that review. We said that Kate's on her way to Chicago because why else would they show us the boxes? There was no purpose of them showing us that scene if it wasn't for us to assume that she was headed to Chicago.
Sure.
I'm
That's
confused.
the same thing I think. Lady V, that's a good theory, but then also at the same time, JP was the only one that was still visiting his grandmother.
Lady V
So
and Fauna, I thought about that too because the bad drugs that Walter and them people got out on the street. I thought about that too. That maybe Kate get a hold of some of them bad drugs and she up out of here.
I don't,
But we've never seen Kate use pills before. She's always been on coke.
but I don't think she's gonna get the pills because remember they were supposed to get the drop, but Vic called the fake 911 call and got the dude popped before the Flynn could even get the bad pills.
Xavier, touch on that a little bit. What events in season three don't make sense? Because I think it's a parallel. I think what it is not necessarily we're looking at it in the mindset that it's consecutive, but I think that they're parallel universes. I think that they are concurrent. So the same things that are happening here are the same things that are happening in book two. They're just in two different destinations. One's in New York, one's in Chicago. I think all this is in the same time frame, give or take a few months within between, because we also saw where in here they have referred to Tommy as being unalive back in New
Yep.
York. We knew all that happened over in book two. We didn't see that happen in Force. So that's how I know that the shows are interlinked as far as the timeline, because why else would they mention that? Those events didn't happen in this series. It happened in book two. So they mentioned it here. So to me, I feel like they are all within the same timeline. It's just not when this one go. And you have to also think about it with the writer's block and the delay in airing the season. It was probably intended to initially air right after book two went out, just like all the rest of the shows. But because we had a delay with that writer's block and all that stuff, we didn't get the show till September the 1st. But ideally, usually Power runs back to back to back. When we get rid of Raising Kanan is the only one that doesn't live in that timeline. But I think the events of Force and the events of Book Two
Yeah.
are all on the same timeline. They're all after the events of season 6 of Power. Because we
Yeah.
saw Tommy dealing with Ghosts unaliving. We saw all that in Force as well. So I think it's the same timeline. It's just different destination, different.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was about to say support game, and they Kanan doesn't even runs at all with any of the OG Power timeline.
No,
Like,
it runs with. That's why it runs after BMF. That's why BMF runs with Raising Canaan. With this, book 2 and Force, they run together. Those two shows run together.
well, in this scene here, we got Walter and Vic waiting on Michael, which I already knew. I knew Michael was going to get unalived. I knew that was coming because how Vic set everything up. About them getting the courier got popped. They don't have any work. Walter wants his money back. And then Vic just unalives him. And of course Walter tells him, like, you got to think, which actually shocked me because I thought he wouldn't have had no problem with Vic unaliving him, but he's still in debt to Dublin, so he still has to get the money. And he told him, like, you just messed up some, like Dublin is still on our ass, and you just messed it up just by unaliving Michael with these things. So I was actually, like I said, I was shocked to see that that he was the one who had no issues with Vic unaliving Michael about the
I'm
bill.
not even interested. Not even interested. Let me order my DoorDash because I'm not even interested. I'm not even interested. I can't stand fucking Vic. I can't stand Vic and Walter.
I still wanted to understand why they kept Tasha and Witsec, even though they thought Tommy was dead. If it's going to parallel, that would explain it. I mean, bro, once you're in Witsec, you're in Witsec.
And not only that, because of what Tommy did, is the reason why to keep her in Witsec. Because he came in and shot at those FBI agents and unalived them, they still think that there's a threat that's after her. Obviously, there is. So that just part for the course. That's just making it seem like, okay, yeah, someone truly is after Tasha. Not knowing, they don't know that Tasha and Tommy made up. Yeah. They don't know that. We know that. We know that Tommy's not after Tasha no more, and there's not a reason for her to be in Witsec. But the feds don't know that. And the fact that they came there and found unalived bodies and Tasha missing, it still presumed that there's a threat that's after her. That's why she's still in Witsec.
Yeah. Like I said, plus anyway, even if that never happened, once you're in Witsec, you're in Witsec. There's no getting out of Witsec.
There's no, I changed my mind. I want to go home.
Once you're in it, you're in it. It's crap. That's pretty much what it is. So she would have been in Witsec for life, regardless whether they knew Tommy was unalive, anything. She would have been in Witsec forever. Let me see. This scene is where JP and D-Mac discuss their whole. JP pretty much tells D-Mac why he wasn't around, because of D-Mac's mother and his whole thing, and whatnot. They come to little agreement, little bond, hug it out, etc., whatever. JP goes to bed, and of course, D-Mac goes straight to.
I knew that when he put that gun in that little ottoman or the etagere or whatever it was. I said to myself, there, I said, "Oh, he gonna swipe that gun."
I didn't understand. Well, like, why would you have put it there anyway? For one, in front of him.
In front of him, right?
Number two, you ain't lock it up, no key, no nothing. Like, you just thought you and Tommy telling him, like, no, you're not gonna have a gun, and I'm just gonna put it in here. You're just gonna listen to me, like I said earlier in the show. I kind of agree with D-Mac. Like, man, look, I ain't gonna be sitting in here with my pants down. Like, if somebody's trying to take you out and they come rushing up to the crib, you know what I'm saying? I need something to protect myself because most of the time I'm down here.
Yeah. I guess that's what he's stealing the gun for, but I think there's something going to end up happening all behind that. I mean, you don't got shot one time. Just sit down. Darnell. Go play video games or something. Be a 16-year-old. I didn't know he was that young. You're 16. Just chill, bro. But you already got shot. So just chill.
Xavier, I think he spoke about the mom in that scene. He said like she wasn't really around.
But that's the first time that they have done that. Prior to that, we was under the impression that the mom was in his life because remember he was hiding everything outside the place
crib,
where the crib. They crib, she was high, so that made us seem like she was one of them type of moms that she was I don't play that like that, but then they made it seem like she was never around. I guess she was out here in the streets or whatever, but that didn't make sense. So I kind of agree with that.
Here's the text message that you're talking about.
I was too early. I was trying to figure out stop avoiding my calls. We need to meet up.
So that's why I feel like it's somebody he knows. That's why I didn't think it was the PO. It's somebody he knows because the way his reaction when he looks at the phone call, it's somebody he knows.
Could it be the dirty cop from last season that they haven't shown?
It could be. Actually, now that you just said that,
because wasn't he begging for money? No, he was on Vic payroll, but he was working for CBI too, wasn't he? He was working for both of them.
I think he was working for both of them.
Yeah.
I think he was working for both of them. But now that you said that, it's almost got me to thinking that what if that new detective is on his payroll, or we find out Diamond is an informant,
or a forced informant. Maybe that was part of his condition for his parole, because they never really explained how he got out. They never explained to us how he got out early. Because remember, everybody was shocked that he had gotten out. They weren't looking for him to come back. So maybe a forced informant.
That would actually make so much sense if he is the actual, like you said, the informant thing. Here they go. They talking to Miguel, trying to re-up again. And this is where, like I said, Miguel is getting extremely suspicious on how they're moving work.
And it's all Tommy. This is what Ghost tried to tell him. Like, you moving too fast. You need to slow down. Because I can't keep the pace. Slow down, Tommy.
I think even Diamond told him. Like, Diamond feeling like,
this all the time. This is where you fuck up, Tommy. This is where you fuck it up. You moving too fast.
Yeah, support game. I think Miguel has suspicions, but he can't prove it yet because, like I said, the last episode, his grandmother told him don't trust Tommy, and he had already said he don't trust Tommy, and he's so used to dealing with Diamond and Jenard and knowing how they move work. Here he come in, the outsider. And now they just move in product like his water. Like they moving it so fast. And he's like, wait a minute, y'all trying to re-back up already again? Like, and that's why I also think it's going to come back to haunt them because Diamond tells Miguel the new pipeline that they got in the prison system of how they move into work. And then that's when I think that's where it's going to come to where, this was extra work. Somehow, some way, he's going to kind of put two and two together. Like, this was the work that was stolen from the truck, and not the Serbs that did it. I think that's what's going to come back to.
Could be.
Here we go. We got Lil K on a live. Detective come pissed off because he told him what was going to happen. Lil K didn't listen.
He did.
He's unalived. So now his case is nothing now because that was his biggest link to Tommy, CBI, everything. And now that he's unalived,
somebody else to flip.
They probably will. Probably be what's the dude name? The big I forgot his name that was sending that Tommy had following around.
I can't remember his name too, but I know who you're talking about.
Or either that or the grandmother is probably going to try to start working with them or whatever. See, this was another scene that I felt like could have just been deleted. Tommy texting, "Yeah, you want to ride tomorrow, etc., whatever." Um, she responds back, laughing emojis, 10 a.m., such and such. Um, gives him a address. I feel like that's a setup.
I feel like it's a setup too.
I feel like it's a
Or at
setup.
the very least, that she may be there, but I don't think she's gonna be there alone. I think Miguel gonna show up,
Yeah.
or Miguel gonna be the one that he really meet.
Support gaming.
I
I was
think the
thinking.
same thing too. That
I
was
was
a
thinking.
setup.
I was thinking that too. Support gaming. That it was actually Miguel that was using her. That's using her phone, or somebody in Miguel's camp. Because remember when he texted her earlier, she started to text back, then she didn't send nothing back. The little dots went away.
That's why he was so shocked that she actually texted back this time, because earlier when he texted her, right, the little bubbles came up like she was texting back, but she did. So he was kind of shocked that she wrote back this time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Tommy, they send your ass up, Tommy.
yeah, that's the setup.
They send
And of
you
course, we get to the end. Jenard is riding around in Lil K's truck, stops off. Um, this scene was not going where I thought it was going to go. I thought he was. Honestly, I don't even know. But to see him get a bag of heroin and decides to snort it just shows how bad Jenard is spiraling out of control. And I think this is where everything is going to come crashing down. I have to figure, hey, Jenard might be the one to get unalive this season.
I hope so.
Just being, just being high off a product. I didn't, I didn't expect. Like I said, it's just. But y'all said he was snorting in season one. It was just this here to me. It was just like it was such a huge drastic jump, and that's why I gave the episode the number that I gave it, because it was just like all of a sudden now, like, yeah, he was in season one. They didn't really show much of it in the first two episodes, because I don't remember him snorting in the first two episodes, and snorting coke. Now all of a sudden he just automatically just jumped to heroin. Like that's a huge jump. Like, cause for if coke and heroin are totally two different things.
Yep.
So like one is a upper, the other one's a downer. So like for him to just jump into getting directly into heroin, like I don't know, maybe if it's the stress. Um, I
He's
don't know.
stressed right now, and he don't know how to ask for help. He don't know how to go back. See, it's the pride. His pride is what's in the way. He don't know how to go back to his brother and tell his brother that I fucked up. So he ain't got no choice.
So I'm very, very curious to see on the next episode exactly um what it is he's going to what it is he's going to do. Like is it going to come out? He's sniffing heroin now. Like I'm very curious to see what's going to happen. I think shoot, I got a feeling he might end up be the one to take out just high, taking out and take out Shanti because she said something to him and he takes her out. He unalives her.
Or them Serbs are going to get to her next, because I mean they already know how to get his attention, and they're going down that path where they're taking everything to get his attention. So they probably going to unalive that girl.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I'm like I said, I'm curious to see the next episode. I know a lot of y'all didn't like season one, and it feel like almost season two is starting to be like season one in a sense. I I don't know where they're going
I
with.
think the pace is going to pick up a little bit more. See, what a lot of what they're doing right now is telling the story. They're developing characters, because we really didn't get all the characters developed, and we wasted time with characters that they're not focused on this season. That's what's frustrating me. Just like with the Dirty Cop, and the sister. You know, we wasted time with the chick that was meeting up at the restaurant with him. We
Yep.
wasted time developing characters that are not even in this season when they could have spent more time with the characters that we do have, developing them. So now we could have had a more action packed season rather than us wasting all this time with the characters that don't.
That don't mean nothing. So that's why I'm thinking the unknown number is going to be either some new character or it's going to be some type of plot twist where it's a character. Maybe that's a crossover.
I think what will redeem this season is at this point because they showed Jenny. So last week we had the big debate about whether it was Jenny or Blanca that showed up in Force. It was actually both.
Yep.
It was actually both,
It's actually
along with Menendez, whatever the hell his name is.
yeah.
Uh, in order for this season to move, Blanca, Jenny, Junior, they're gonna have to show up. Tariq, Brayden, they're gonna have to show up. Like I think Tommy's gonna get way in over his head. Diamond's either gonna get pushed up against the wall, either he gonna get shook by what happened to this little boy that he gonna take up under his wing, or he gonna get shook by what happened to Jenard when Jenard get unalive. Diamond gonna fall back. So
Yeah.
Tommy gonna kind of be out there on his own again with no crew. I can see Tariq them coming and helping him move some of his weight because they need a place to hide out because they got to get out of New York. Because
That's right.
I think at some point these shows are going to blend.
Yeah.
It may not happen this season.
A crossover
At
coming.
some point these shows are going to blend.
Book two. Probably because of how I could say for book two because of how easy it was to continue to write it because it's basically like they're just it's a continuation of season 6 of Power. Like it's a continuation from the last episode.
It
So I
really
think
is.
that's yeah, it's just like Tariq still in school because we saw Brayden in Power. It's just now it's just
We
kind
got
of
a
like
lot of the cast. We got more of the OG cast over there at book 2.
yeah,
Right here, you got Tommy and C-list characters from Power that we don't recognize. Just like Liliana, just like Julio's cousin last season. We don't know these people.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But book 2, we have all the faces that we remember. Sax, Tasha, Braden, Effie, Tariq,
yep,
Tamika,
yeah,
Blanca. You got so many different characters, so it's almost hate. You got so many different characters over there in book 2 that are from the OG Power that it just feels like we're watching OG Power just later seasons.
yeah. It was just an easy continuation, and then with Raising Canaan because it's a brand new story. Like these are new.
A brand new
People.
story with 2 of the most controversial characters from Power Universe, Jukebox and Kanan. So
Yeah.
we're intrigued.
And plus, it's in a totally different timeline. It's not in the same
past.
timeline.
It's in the
Yeah.
past.
It's in the past. It's way
What
in the
we've
back.
always wanted to see. We've always wanted to see more of the Power Universe in the
Yeah.
past.
So, I mean, I don't know, but
Yeah, they should have merged. I agree. I said that before. They should have made Force and Book 2 been its own show because Tommy's show is just not strong enough to have its own spinoff. It was just like Tate. They decided to cancel Tate's show. They should have really canceled this one too because it's just we need more. We need more people to interact with Tommy from OG Power.
it's just still weird to me because he's second in ratings behind book 2. So
all of them are going to do good in ratings because of the name. The name itself brings the viewership.
I mean, yeah, but you would think as many people
Just like right now, we
complain
gonna
about
watch.
it.
If anything has power attached to it, we're gonna watch. Period.
That's true. But you would think has been complaining about it that Force would be like below Raising Canaan in ratings or below BMF in ratings. It's like, but that's number 2 behind book 2, and then it's Raising Canaan, and then it's BMF.
That's because the central cast of Force is pink people. So the pink I'm sorry.
Oh man.
Drinking and thinking, while I was drinking and thinking, I thought that is because of the pink people. They watch it.
Oh man. Oh man. Well, yo.
Anyway, y'all, we appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm sorry again, I was late. I had my time mixed up. It's 8:30 here where I'm
Yeah.
at. 9:30.
It's no.
Yeah. Anyway, we will see you guys next week. Y'all make sure y'all drop your theories, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Y'all make sure y'all keep the conversation going. So we will love to continue the conversation because I got a lot of things I need to say that I didn't get a chance to say. So drop your own thoughts and comments below, and we will talk to you guys next week. Peace.